Hello everyone and welcome to my Kayle guide. My runes of choice is Fleet Footwork, Triumph, Alacrity, and the last one you can take Coup de Grace or Last Stand, it's not that important. In the second tree I generally go for Resolve, Bone Plating, and Revitalize. You could go second win if you're against a poke champion, often you'll be against a bruiser that's going to jump onto you, and Bone Plating just helps you out against those heroes because it keeps you safe. Items. So the core items on Kayle is Nash's Tooth and Grinter's Rage. I test out in practice mode a lot of different item builds and I found it to be the most successful if you want to deal damage. And Kayle is a damage dealing split push. Best situational items on Kayle in my opinion is Wit's End, Sonya's, and Gunblade. They're all extremely good if you will need to be a little bit more defensive and you can't go for the raw damage that Nash's Tooth and Grinter's Rage brings out. Full build on Kayle. So we have two different full builds here. We have the full offensive full build where you're going to split push and you just want to deal as much damage as possible. You're going to have Berserker Greaves, Nash's Tooth, Grinter's Rage Blade, Gunblade, Void Staff, and a Rabadons. That's going to be the ultimate damage you're going to be able to do. On the right side we have a more defensive build where we're having Mercury Treads, Wit's End, Sonya's. You could even put in a Banshee's Wail as well. However, the core items will still be Nash's Tooth and you still need a Grinter's Rage Blade. You might not build it second. You could go for the Wit's End second item or a Gunblade second item, but you still will need it in the item build eventually. The skill order on Kayle is Starfire Spellblade level 1, Celestial Blessing level 2, and Radiant Blast level 3. This is the E bigger than W, bigger than Q. The reason for this is because the E gives you the most damage and consistent damage. The W is a very nice safe tool because it heals you, and it gives you movement speed if you want to catch the opponent. Then you have the Q, which is kind of decent, but it's difficult to hit and it's easier for the enemy to avoid because it's slow. And it's way better to use if people are running into you. Kayle's laning phase. So you're going to be starting out with a Corrupting Potion level 1, and then you're getting into the lane, you want to play passive. So the number one thing for you to do is don't push. You could go to the lane early and freeze it if you want to. I didn't do that in this instance, but that's a possibility. The number one thing is you don't want to push. You need the enemy to push you. So what you're going to do is stand close to the minions, and what you want him to be, his positioning needs to be in the minions when he's hitting you. If it's in the minions are going to target him, and then afterwards you're going to be much safer because the wave is going to push towards you. This game I get a good gang and it's going to help me out a ton. It's going to make the laning phase a lot easier, but it's always the same principle. You need to not push him if you're laning. Right now I'm going to be pushing due to the fact that we got a kill, and that's going to be fine because now I'm safe by Nocturne. And then we're going to push it in and it's going to push back to me. That's basically the whole laning phase, right? You make him push into you, you skill E into W, use the E on him if you can chunk him down, and if you can't, then you just use it on minions just to farm. And the W is just a healing tool, right? You want to just stay safe and heal. Also another thing is to always move around so you can stack up the Fleet Footwork and use that for a little bit extra healing whenever you go for CS. Kayle's power spikes. So the main power spikes come to level 6, 11, and 16. So the level 6 power spike is because your auto attacks, when you get up to 5 stacks, you start launching 5 A's, which is a small AoE, which does a decent amount of damage, and your E, Spellfire Blade, gets upgraded to do explosive damage around the target you're hitting. At level 11, your auto attack range becomes 550, and your attack speed per stack is increased to 10%, which is an insane buff. You're gonna be super strong at level 11, and you actually start to be equally strong to other champions, maybe a bit stronger than some, but you're still not at the power spike you need. You're still not a guard at this point, and you still need to wait a little longer. Now, you get level 16, you finally in the late game, and at this point, you just become a guard. Transcendent becomes permanently exalted, so you get the exalted stack from level 6 all the time, and your 5 waves deals true damage. This is the power spike that you need. If you can reach this level, Kayle is going to be phenomenal, and you're most likely going to be able to carry games. Teamfight positioning is very important in Kayle. As you can see here, I'm standing slightly behind or equal to my teammates, so the enemies engage on them first, and then I can get in and do a lot of damage. Kayle have an insane amount of damage, but he's super squishy, so you don't want to be first. Also, a good thing to do is quickly W the AD carry or the AP carry, so you can go in and poke all the time. You give a speed boost every time you W, and it's super effective for them to quickly get in, hit the enemies, and get out. Another position you'll often end up in is where your team already started fighting and you're coming in from a flank or you're teleporting in. This is a good situation to be in as well, as long as you're not the first one to arrive, because the enemy have used their cooldowns, and now you can just go to town, hit whoever you want to hit, and hopefully maybe you can win the team fight. If you can't, you can always back off because the enemies generally have used their cooldowns, and you just have to play accordingly. And guys, here we have a perfect example why teamfight positioning is so important. I'm chasing the enemy team. I'm the first one to chase my AP carry and my AD carry behind me. Echo flanks from the side, and she instantly bursts me down to 1 health. I have to ultimate myself. I can't auto attack anymore, and I'm completely useless. Even though I'm pretty strong at this point, I don't do anything in this team fight, and I just have to run. Thanks for watching my first guide. Leave a comment if you want to see more of this content, if you have any feedback or any other things.